Hang on, people. This sister of alleged predator priest talks about the cover-ups in the church, which is pretty interesting because I know all the Catholics are out there hating on me every time I bring this up, but this is such an accepted way of life within the Catholic Church, and everybody wants to say, well, not all Catholic priests are like that, Rick. You're just picking on them, and you're going to go to hell, and what? All right, whatever. This is just so widespread throughout the Catholic, in every country, not just the U.S., every country. If it was one country, if it was one parish, if it was only a few states, every state in the United States, every country out there, same problem. And this is why, because this sister tells why she couldn't tell on him.
Church's own documents. She only has these records because they are from her brother's personnel file. He's a former priest who was just outed last month by the St. Louis Archdiocese as a priest with substantiated allegations of sexual abuse of a minor.
It just seemed like they were always talking
So this is her own brother she's talking about.
about, Norman, he's in the seminary, he's going to be a priest.
Norman Christian died in 2004. His sister Carol Kunert says he left behind a legacy of ruined lives the church would not acknowledge until just 2 weeks ago.
The church wouldn't do anything with it. This is what he did. This must have been when he was out going around picking up kids.
And he continued to serve. The church record shows Christian served at St. Peter's Church in Kirkwood, Ascension Parish in Normandy, Sacred Heart in Festus, St. William in Woodson Terrace, and St. George's in Afton.
Well, Rick, why did he move around so much? Because the church, every time he got complaints, would move him to a new church where he could find new victims. They wouldn't tell the police. They wouldn't kick him out. And when it got so bad, they give these priests who are molesting thousands of kids, they give them a pension and free room and board and money for the rest of their life because the church moves them around to continue their reign of terror on these kids. It's just outrageous. I can't believe that nobody's running an international crime ring on this Catholic Church.
He took this boy to his room at the rectory, right there on Hickey Road, St. George's Parish, and molested him.
In this 1995 church personnel file Kunert obtained, it notes a boy molested in rectory 10 or 11 times. Says father did to him what happens in prison.
Oh, Rick, why are you picking on the Catholics? Look, he's got his nice little white collar on, and he works for God, and the devil made him do it. It's not his fault. Okay, freaking idiots.
The file adds, father reports sexually abusing approximately 12 persons between 1960.
12 different people the church knew about and continue to move him around. Yeah, I'm sure this is an isolated case. This never happens. Catholic Church isn't to blame.
In 1986, Kunert says her own relatives never believed it because she said the church never acknowledged it publicly.
They will not just be open, transparent, and let people know this is what's going on.
In May 1995, the church removed him from active priestly ministry, while this memo from the Catholic Center to Christian Supervisor, January 1996, advises to not disclose more than he judges necessary. He could handle this by stating that he's asked for an extended medical leave.
Oh, so now we're making up excuses to hide his crimes so he can go to another church and commit more crimes. Rick, the Catholic Church doesn't do that. It's just a couple of them. Okay.
In other words, lie to them, but he didn't say that. Just, tell them you're sick. They suggested that this stress is bad.
Kunert says her brother continued getting paid by the church until 2002. She showed us this letter from Father Timothy Dolan. It reads, as of April 1st, 2002, you will no longer receive salary from the Archdiocese. The money was important to her brother because Kunert found documents like this showing her brother paying off one of his victims.
So this is what we call in the police world a pay and owe sheet. Drug dealers use this to know who owes them money and how much they collected and who gave it to them, etc. So the church has their own little pay and owe sheet where they're paying off people.
$450 a month to pay a $9,000 settlement. Kunert thought the victim needed more than money. She found him and offered to help him confront her brother.
He said, I don't have the courage. He could not. He said, my legs wouldn't hold me up to do it. He said, I wish I could, but I couldn't.
Kunert said her brother lived rent-free here at Regina Clary in Webster Groves until he died in 2004.
Rent-free? No rent's free. Somebody was paying for it. These idiots sound like the government. The government's going to give free stuff. No, the government takes it from somebody to give it to you free, you bunch of idiots. Unbelievable.
She published a book that contains every church document and personal letter in her brother's case. It's called No Longer on Pedestals. The new list of clergy with substantiated complaints is under a new approach. The church says to be more open. And as the list of names is titled, A Promise to Protect. You'll find this list of clergy and more on Kunert's book.
Oh, yeah, that's that. Everybody believes that, right? The church is being open now. They just served a warrant in Dallas on the diocese up there because they wouldn't give records and they weren't cooperating in the investigation. But don't worry about that. I'm sure that was just a misunderstanding. All right, we'll end that there on the Catholic Church and their lies and criminal conspiracy to run a child porn ring. And you got idiots lining up at church giving them money to support this. And then they want to cry about, oh, the church, it doesn't believe in abortions, it doesn't believe in divorce, it doesn't believe... Oh, but it believes pretty much in molesting helpless children under the cloak that you work for God. Perfect. All right, we'll end that there.